Millions of Americans are currently receiving official notices in the mail from the U.S. Social Security Administration, and these letters are far from routine informational mail. They represent legally binding communications that directly impact retirement, disability, or supplemental security income benefits for tens of millions of people across the country. These notices, sent to beneficiaries in all 50 states and U.S. territories, are generated through the SSA's complex automated systems, which analyze personal earnings histories, benefit entitlements, prior administrative decisions, and the most recent legislative adjustments to Social Security law. Each letter is individually tailored, referencing precise calculations of primary insurance amounts, retroactive payments owed, overpayments identified, verification requirements, or policy changes like adjustments under the windfall elimination provision repeal or updated cost of living adjustments. The scale of these mailings is staggering. The SSA processes and mails hundreds of millions of notices annually, each of them crucial to a beneficiary's financial security. Ignoring these letters is not a minor oversight. It is a decision with potentially immediate and long-term economic consequences. Benefits can be reduced, delayed, or entirely forfeited if recipients fail to respond within the deadline specified, which are often legally enforceable and calculated from the postmarked date of the letter. For millions of retirees living on fixed incomes or disabled Americans reliant on SSI, these notices carry real, tangible stakes. Before continuing, it is imperative that viewers take action to stay informed. If you are receiving Social Security communications, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because these updates are not hypothetical, they affect financial livelihoods directly and urgently. Understanding the content of these letters and responding within deadlines is not optional. It is essential to protecting both current and future income. The SSA notices reflect both short-term administrative adjustments and long-term demographic and economic pressures on the Social Security system. Social Security is a pay-as-you-go program, relying on current payroll tax collections to fund current benefits, without individual personal savings accounts. As the ratio of workers to beneficiaries declines due to demographic shifts and increased life expectancy, the program faces structural pressures that require legislative and administrative responses. Notices being mailed today are a direct consequence of these pressures, reflecting the SSA's implementation of updated earnings records, recalculated benefit formulas, and retroactive adjustments mandated under new federal legislation. Every letter references both law and regulation, sections of Title II and Title 16 of the Social Security Act, relevant portions of the Code of Federal Regulations, and in many cases, detailed tables showing recalculated monthly benefits, projected retroactive payments, or overpayment recovery schedules. Missing the deadlines or failing to understand the calculations can result in the irrevocable loss of benefits, delayed disbursements, or administrative finality of appeal rights. The notices are also a window into broader operational challenges faced by the SSA. Staffing shortages, increased call center wait times, and consolidations of field offices have created bottlenecks that make it more difficult for beneficiaries to respond or seek clarification. Current SSA data indicates that average wait times for phone inquiries have risen from around 61 minutes to over 99 minutes in high-volume periods, and some regions report significantly longer delays for in-person appointments. These operational delays, combined with complex legal and administrative language in the notices, amplify the risk that beneficiaries will miss deadlines or fail to properly understand the implications of the information contained in the mailings. In effect, these systemic pressures are directly linked to the urgency and importance of the notices. They are not merely formalities, but the point at which federal administrative capacity intersects with individual financial survival. The content of the notices varies but can be broadly categorized into several critical types. First, adjustment notices inform beneficiaries of recalculated monthly benefits due to updated earnings records, policy changes, or procedural corrections. Even small percentage adjustments can result in hundreds of dollars per month difference, which compounds over years into thousands of dollars of financial impact. Second, retroactive payment notices detail back pay owed to beneficiaries due to delayed processing, corrected earnings records, or legal recalculations. These notices require careful tracking, as the retroactive amounts must often be claimed or verified to ensure they are correctly deposited into the recipient's account. Third, overpayment notices identify payments SSA claims were issued in error and often propose a repayment schedule, which can strain the finances of vulnerable individuals if disputed incorrectly or ignored. Fourth, verification and documentation requests demand beneficiaries provide proof of identity, continued eligibility, or specific earnings records, with strict deadlines. Finally, transition notices reflect changes in federal law or internal SSA procedures that impact eligibility, calculation methods, or benefit disbursement. Each type carries its own operational and financial consequences, and failure to comply may result in automatic finality of administrative decisions, loss of retroactive benefits, or extended bureaucratic delays in appeal resolution. Adding to the complexity, fraud and scam operations increasingly exploit these mailings. Criminal actors send counterfeit letters mimicking the SSA, complete with official-looking logos and references to current SSA officials. These letters claim Social Security numbers are compromised or threaten account freezes unless immediate action is taken, often including instructions to provide personal information or make payments. Unlike legitimate SSA notices, these fraudulent communications never demand immediate payment by phone or threaten legal action without due process. SSA's Office of Inspector General has issued repeated warnings about the growing prevalence of these scams, and beneficiaries must verify all communications through the official SSA toll-free number or secure online portal. The real notices, by contrast, contain precise references to law, instructions for appeals, and carefully calculated benefit figures, underscoring their seriousness. The broader economic and policy context heightens the stakes. The OASDI trust funds, which support Social Security benefits, face long-term solvency challenges, projected in recent trustees' reports to require draws from reserves within the next decade if revenue and benefit formulas are not adjusted. Congressional debates over payroll tax caps, retirement age adjustments, and benefit formula revisions directly inform the content of these notices. Each letter is, in effect, a communication of the current legal and administrative reality of Social Security benefits to the individual, a tangible manifestation of abstract policy decisions. For a retiree nearing 65 or a long-term disabled beneficiary, these notices determine the exact monthly income that will be available, influencing everything from housing stability to medical care. The operational implications are significant at both individual and systemic levels. Millions failing to respond or understand their notices can result in backlogs of cases before administrative law judges, delayed retroactive payments, and increased administrative costs for SSA. High rates of noncompliance or misunderstanding can also distort SSA's actuarial models, which rely on accurate reporting of beneficiary responses to verification requests. Inaccurate projections may misinform federal fiscal policy, affecting debates over revenue collection, spending priorities, and trust fund management. On the individual level, missing deadlines can mean irrevocable loss of benefits, financial hardship, or administrative decisions that are difficult to overturn. For low-income retirees, the difference between compliance and non-compliance can be thousands of dollars annually, a sum that can determine whether basic needs like rent, food, or medication are affordable. The political and social implications are equally significant. Social Security is one of the largest federal expenditure programs, second only to Medicare and defense, and it is a foundational pillar of financial security for older Americans. Public confidence in the SSA, in the fairness and reliability of Social Security, depends on beneficiaries understanding, receiving, and responding appropriately to these notices. Widespread confusion or failure to respond undermines trust, which can fuel political movements advocating for privatization, benefit cuts, or structural reform, policy debates with real consequences for tens of millions of Americans. These letters are the point at which macroeconomic pressures, legislative decisions, and administrative capacity converge with the personal financial lives of everyday citizens. Global implications also exist. The United States, as a major economy, is closely observed by global financial markets and policymakers. Decisions regarding Social Security administration, communications, and benefit management affect international perceptions of fiscal stability, influence sovereign credit ratings, and serve as benchmarks for pension system management in aging economies worldwide. Policies implemented and communicated through these notices can set precedents in actuarial transparency, administrative efficiency, and public accountability, which in turn inform debates in Europe, East Asia, and beyond about how to manage aging populations and retirement security sustainably. The immediate uncertainty for beneficiaries is striking. Notices must be read, deadlines adhered to, and calculations verified. The consequences of inaction are tangible and severe, ranging from reduced or delayed benefits to loss of appeal rights. At the systemic level, SSA must contend with operational bottlenecks, evolving legislation, demographic pressures, and fraud prevention, all while maintaining fiscal integrity and public trust. The future of Social Security benefits is, therefore, not only a matter of policy but also of individual action. Every response or lack thereof carries real consequences. The intersection of law, economics, administration, and human livelihood is precisely where these notices operate. Beneficiaries who act with diligence can secure rightful benefits. Those who ignore them risk financial harm and legal finality. We must recognize that this situation is not static. Legislative changes, SSA modernization efforts, staffing adjustments, and evolving fraud threats all contribute to a dynamic environment in which Social Security beneficiaries operate. The consequences of today's notices